Bonjour, Kinamage Nene Ireland Indigenous, and welcome to this episode of the My Math Network. Today's lesson, Chapter 3, Lesson 11, use models to interpret the remainder. The essential question today, what strategies can be used to divide whole numbers? To do this lesson, you're going to need a few tools. Obviously, you're going to need your packet for lesson 11. You're also going to need things you can divide, maybe even a paper plate in which to organize it. If we were in class and there wasn't COVID, we would certainly have a bunch of paper plates and a bunch of little blocks out. So all you had to do was sort them as we talk about interpreting the remainder. Obviously, we are in a different time and place, so you're going to have to gather those supplies at home. You could take a piece of paper and cut in little pieces. If you have a bunch of coins laying around, use the coins. The value won't matter. So let us begin with the build it section. And if you're still like Mr. I need the supplies, hit pause and then come back when you're ready. All right. So a group of fifth graders collected 46 cans of food to donate to 3 food banks. If each food bank to get an equal number of cans, how many cans do they receive? How many cubes would you need? I'll get my annotation tool here. Or whatever it is you're going to use to sort. Well, you find the number up here is 46, so we're going to do that. And how many paper plates or spots that you want to sort these do you need? Well, right up here you see a 3. So that's going to be our problem. So how many plates are we using? Repeat it. 3. Now go ahead, if you have these materials, sort it out and then unpause the video. So you can pause the video now. Welcome back. How many did you get on each plate? I had 15 on mine. And there's one lonely, sad cube that just nobody wanted, left alone. You may have noticed that suddenly we have an answer here to a division problem, 15 remainder 1. So you should make sure you write this in as we complete this step. As always, anytime that I ask you to write stuff in, if you need an extra moment, feel free to hit pause and then move on. All right, so here we go. Let's clear it. Let us check the build it shows us the answers. Step 2 on your page, interpret the remainder. So this is where we're going to start figuring out what are we going to do when it's a story problem. This really won't apply a great deal to the standard algorithm, but story problems do require this. Since each food bank is to get the same number of cans, they will each receive 15 cans. And there's 1 can left over. What are we going to do with it? Depends on what it is. If it's something good, maybe eat it. You just give 1 an extra can, and that's going to be kind of up to you on what you decide to do. All right, so make sure you write that in. So now we're going to turn the page to 222. Close my annotation tool, move forward here. So now we're going to do a total of 35 students are going on a field trip to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Only if they take us, am I right, class? If there needs to be 1 adult for every 8 students, how many adults are needed? So how many connecting cubes do we need? Well, there are 35 students, so we need 35 cubes, or whatever it is you're sorting. So how many plates are there with 8 students? So if you notice, they have a picture here. There's 8, 8, 8, and 8. So 4 plates have 8 students. Begrudge to them for drawing that. And how many cubes are left over? 3. So what do we do with that? Do those 3 poor kids get stuck can't go, have to go to another grade and do homework all day, but their friends are enjoying their learning, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe, just maybe, you'll find out that we're going to have to get another adult. But let's see if we're correct. So I'm going to clear the drawings, make sure you have those written in. Let's go to the next slide, which is the same. Interpreting the remainder. So there were four groups of 8 students. They will each need an adult. There are 3 students who are not enough for a full group of 8. They will also need an adult because otherwise they're not going. And that would be no bueno. So we're going to need 4 plus 1 more adult. So we need 9 adults for this trip. This is what they mean by interpret the remainder. What are you going to do with what you've learned? Is it going to be you add 1 more group? If we're talking about tables or teachers, things where everything has to participate? Or is it something like, I'll keep a couple extra pieces of candy for myself instead of giving it to my friends? These answers will be different depending on the story problem. So you're going to have to use some common sense decision making. So let me go ahead and clear the drawings here. In activity 1, the remainder was dropped. Why? Because apparently we did not want to give one entry more than the others. So we just kept that can. Activity 2 is rounded up. Why? Because you have to take all your students and you can't be mean and leave them behind. They will not be happy. There will be natural consequences for the teacher on that decision. All right, solve using models. Explain how to interpret the remainder. Draw your models. Each picnic table at the park seats 6 people. How many tables will 83 people at a family reunion need? Go ahead and either draw the model or use paper plates. You're going to have 83 people divided in 6. You're going to need to tell me what your remainder is. And then there's obviously the model drawing. So go ahead and pause your video, do it, and come back on the other side. You may pause your video now. Welcome back. Let's see what we had here. There's a whole lot of stuff on this problem. You're going to need 13 tables, 13 groups of 6, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78, and now there's only 5 here. Now, so I have 13 full tables. What do I do with that remainder? Are you going to make people stand? Tell them they can't eat? Good luck at the next family reunion if you pull that stunt. You're going to need to bring in another table. So you'll need 14 tables. That's what they mean by interpreting the remainder. Do you add 1 or do you drop it? That's really the 2 options that are going to come out of it. Add 1 or drop it. So let's go 1 more together. Mrs. Malone has $75 to buy volleyballs for Lincoln Middle School. How many can she buy at $9 each? So we're going to need groups of 9 to get to 75. And then tell me what you're going to do. And then, of course, draw your models on your paper. Go ahead and pause video and do it now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. 8 remainder 3. She can buy 8 volleyballs. You can see the images here, groups of 9. There's 8 of them because that gets you to 72. The remaining $3 is left over. She can't get a volleyball for $3 unless she makes a good deal by haggling it down. But assuming that she can't, she's just going to have $3 left over. You're going to get 8 volleyballs. And that's where we stand on that. All right, we are at the point now where I would like you to attempt some homework on this. Page 225 and 226. Yes, I do want you to draw them out. Even if you're going to respond in the Google form, it's a good idea to write these out on paper and send the paper back in, either via scanning it or taking a picture of it and sending it to me, or in our next paper exchange. By getting me a view of what you're thinking, it will help me help you. Help me help you. Sorry, old movie reference. As always, if you have any questions about the material, feel free to reach out to me during office hours. That's 2 p.m. each day, barring professional development. Or you can attend a live stream and watch this lesson live and interact that way. Or you can reach out to me at mireland@sagchipschool.net. Hope you all have a Minnow God, and we'll see you next week with more from the My Math Network. Mama P.